So here we are. Oh my goodness, is it really Thursday already? Welcome to day 9 of 31 days of English during October 2019. Are we on? Yes, I think we are. Hi everybody, this is Mr. Duncan in England. How are you today? Are you okay? I hope so. Are you happy? I hope so. As you can see, we are doing something slightly different today. I know that many people like to see my kitchen, so every Wednesday, I said Thursday, but in fact it's Wednesday. It feels like Thursday. But in fact, it is Wednesday. I know it is Wednesday because earlier we had our rubbish bin emptied. So the local council comes every Wednesday to empty our rubbish bin. So that's why it must be Wednesday. So the big question is, what's cooking? Oh, do you like that question? What's cooking? Well, first of all, there is nothing cooking in the kitchen today because I won't be doing any cooking. However, I will be talking about things connected to this room. However, we can also use what's cooking as a phrase to ask a person what is going on. So you might ask, Mr. Duncan, today on your live stream, what's cooking? So this can actually be used as a phrase, which means what is going on today? What is happening? What's cooking? Well, lots of things coming up today. In the kitchen, we are doing the whole live stream live in the kitchen. Yes, I am now live. It is just after 5 minutes past 2 o'clock, and it is definitely Wednesday. However, I know for a fact that it is day 9 of 31 days of October. And for those who are wondering what it's all about, well, there you can see now the details on the screen. So the details are there for you to see, and you can see, of course, I am with you every day during October 2019. As a special way of celebrating my 13th anniversary here on YouTube. So that's the reason why I am here today. And you can see I am with you on Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. UK time, Saturday, just after midday, 12 p.m. UK time. And on Sunday, you can catch me as well on YouTube. That is where I live for most of the time. Certainly this month it feels as if I've spent every single day on YouTube, which in fact I have, technically. So there are the live times. Don't forget it is UK time. So that's what I'm doing during the month of October. So thank you very much for joining me again. Don't forget the playlist is now under this video. So if you have missed any of my special live streams, don't worry, you can actually watch them again, and the playlist is under this video in the description. Can I say thank you very much to those who helped me yesterday with my little problem? I had a technical problem with my iPhone. Now I was prompted, so I had a message from Apple telling me that I had to update my mobile phone to the latest operating system, iOS 13, I think it is. Is it? Is it really iOS 13? It seems very high, doesn't it? Too high, in fact. Anyway, it asked me to update to the brand new version of iOS. And I asked yesterday, is it safe to do it? And I had a few people say, Mr. Duncan, you can do it. So last night, I decided to take the risk and I updated the operating system in my iPhone. And yes, it works okay. In fact, I can't really tell any difference from the previous operating system, to be honest. It seems pretty much the same, even though people keep on about dark mode. What is dark mode? Does that mean that it will switch your lights off? If you want your lights to go off, you can actually press a button on your phone and it will make everything dark. I wonder. So, what is trending at the moment? Right here in the UK, this is trending. The hashtag Extinction Rebellion. Extinction Rebellion. So the word extinction means to be wiped out. A certain creature, a certain animal vanishes forever. We say that the particular animal in question has gone extinct. It has become extinct. So at the moment down in London, there is a big protest taking place. Thousands and thousands of people have taken to the streets of London to protest against the destruction of the environment. Now, I have my own thoughts on the Extinction Rebellion. First of all, my first thought is, how are all those people getting to London? Are they walking there? Are they riding their bicycles? Or are they driving their cars? So there might be something slightly ironic or even hypocritical about that. I've also noticed that many of the protest signs that they're holding are made of paper or plastic. Two of the things that are pretty much destroying the planet at the moment. So I'm not really sure if it's the right approach. Sometimes protesting gets you nowhere. If you remember, way back in 2008, when we had the banking crisis, lots of people decided to camp outside in London, in public places, and also in places where they shouldn't have been. But it turned out that many of the people that were camping in tents were actually not there. They were going to their hotels. So they were putting their tents outside some famous landmarks. This is way back in 2008, by the way. And many of them were going to a hotel to sleep in luxury. So sometimes these things can come across. They can appear a little bit hypocritical. For example, during the last extinction protest, Emma Thompson flew all the way from New York, or was it California, to be with the protesters. And then soon as the protest finished, she got back on a plane and flew all the way back to the United States. And the irony was they were actually protesting about the number of people that are using planes to get around. So I thought that was a little strange, to say the least. Anyway, it is trending at the moment. I'm sure you have different thoughts and opinions, which you are allowed. You can express your opinions right here. It is free. You can join in and ask and say what you want. I promise not to censor you or ban you. This isn't China. Definitely not. Hello to the live chat. Oh, hello, live chat. Nice to see you here today. Guadeloupe. Oh, congratulations, Guadeloupe. Guess what? You are first on today's live chat, which means you get a super duper round of applause. Take a bow. Guadeloupe, you are first. Also, Tias is here on the live chat as well. Lots of people wanting to get involved. Andrew is here as well. Eric. Hi, Mr. Duncan and everyone. Palmyra, Jurga, Bayan. Many regular viewers are joining me now every day, and I really do appreciate the fact that you give me your time. It's great to see you here. It is lovely. Palmyra says, what a good marathoner Mr. Duncan is. Yes, you might describe my live streams as being a marathon. So something that goes on much longer than usual. So you can run a marathon, or something that goes on for an extended period of time can also be described as a marathon, a long thing that is going on for an extended period of time. Louis, hello Mr. Duncan, hello everyone. And also don't forget, hello to the moderators. I do appreciate you being here, moderating the live stream. Che Wanjang says, oh, hello, and also good night. Now, normally we use good night as a way of saying goodbye. So we don't normally greet with good night. We normally say good night when we are going away. So it is unusual to say good night when you are saying hello. However, you can say good evening. Good evening. Good evening, everybody. So you can say good evening as a way of saying hello in the evening. Hello, Luis Mendez. Yes, I'm here again. Day 9. Wow. And I can't believe it's Wednesday already. And we are in the kitchen. Lots of things to show you today. Lots of things to describe and talk about. You will notice behind me there are many things that we are going to talk about today. Can you see over there? Can you see that white thing? That is actually my gazebo that I normally use on Sunday. So you can see my gazebo has been folded away and it's just behind me there in the conservatory. Oh, by the way, today would have been John Lennon's 79th birthday. He would have been 79 today had he not been assassinated way back in 1980. So John Lennon would have been 79 today. I love your kitchen, says Christina. It is very cosy. Sometimes when we say cosy, we actually mean small. Yes, my kitchen is small, not big, not small. I suppose I would say that the kitchen is medium sized. But you're right. Yes, it is quite cosy in here. Even though all of this needs replacing. So everything behind me is actually very old. So this behind me and this, everything, it is all actually quite old. So it does need replacing. However, on the camera, it looks quite nice. I can't help noticing that on the camera, everything looks quite pretty and lovely. Hello, Moona. Hello, Patrick. Patrick, I am starving. Can you cook something for me? Well, there is something I can do. I can put the kettle on. Would you like me to put the kettle on? Kettle. Kettle is something you use for boiling water. So if you put the kettle on, what does it mean? Does it mean this? Here is my kettle. So put the kettle on. Does it mean this? No, of course it doesn't. So when you put the kettle on, it means you heat it up. You heat the water in the kettle so you can make a hot drink. So when we say put the kettle on, Mr. Duncan, can you put the kettle on? It means can you boil some water so we can have a nice hot cup of tea or maybe cup of coffee. What are you having today? Are you having a cup of tea or a cup of coffee? Please let me know, because I'm very interested. I'm always interested to find out what you are doing. So when we say put the kettle on, it means boil some water. Incidentally, the word kettle can also be used as a verb, and also a noun. It can describe a maneuver that is sometimes done by the police. So the word kettle can actually be used as a verb. You can kettle someone in. You can kettle someone. And this is often a procedure or a maneuver that is used by the police during protests. And what they will do, they will push all of the protesters into a corner or into a small space so they can let off their anger. They can do what they went there to do, which is protest. So the word kettle has more than one meaning. Normally, it means to put something on heat, such as a kettle of water, and it can also mean to push someone into a corner. You kettle them. You push them into a confined space. Back to the live chat. Oh, hello to 1449. Is that number important? Is there a reason why you are using that number? I wonder. Hello, Anna. Hello, Lewis again. Hello, Belarusia. Belarusia has been busy in the kitchen chopping onions. I've been chopping onions for lunch. Now my hands smell of onions. I think so. It is a very strong smell. If you ever get onions on your fingers, the smell will stay for a long time. Hello, Cooking Coke. Hello, Cooking Coke. I am Jorge from Mexico. Nice to see you here. Christina is here. Your shirt is very original. Thank you very much. A lot of people seem to like this particular t-shirt. Thank you very much. Hello to Hiba. In my country, people are struggling, fighting to gain freedom and liberty. Now, I have a feeling you are watching in Iraq. So my greetings to you, and please stay safe. Anna says your kitchen is really tidy. Do you want to know why the kitchen is tidy? The reason is because I'm doing my live stream, so I had to tidy the kitchen to make it look nice. Just for you. Isn't that lovely? What do you want to cook for us? I won't be doing any cooking today. However, I will be showing you some kitchen items. So things that we use in the kitchen. So I will be showing you right here, live, on camera, some of the things that I have in my kitchen, some of the useful items that I have right here in my kitchen. Kitchen items. I have been doing my lessons. I've been making my YouTube videos for almost 13 years. And this morning I thought of a very interesting word. And here is the word. Can you see it? Longevity. Longevity. I love this word. I don't know why. Some people pronounce it longevity. However, most people will pronounce this word longevity. Longevity. And the meaning of the word is to survive for a long period of time or to have a very long life. So when we talk about longevity, it means an extended or long period of actually existing, of being alive. So I love this word. Also, it can refer to anything that has been done for a long time. So you might say that my YouTube channel has longevity. It means it has survived for many years and hopefully it will survive for many more to come. Hello to the live chat. We are now up to date. Lilia is here. Hello, Lilia. Nice to see you here today. Also, Mohammed Gad. Which is your favourite meal that you enjoy cooking? Now, to be honest with you, can I just admit, I'm not a big fan of cooking. So I wouldn't describe myself as a good cook. However, sometimes when I do cook, I can be a little bit lazy. That's all I'm saying. For example, last night I made pizza. Well, actually, I didn't make pizza. I actually got a frozen pizza from out of the freezer and then I just put it in the oven. So I was a little lazy last night. I decided to cook pizza. Unfortunately, I did not prepare it myself. It was already prepared. It was frozen in a box. So I'm sure some of you are now saying, Mr. Duncan, you are so lazy. Why don't you make your own food? Why don't you stand in front of your stove cooking the food yourself? Well, I suppose it is a very good suggestion. The only problem is, and this is something I've noticed, if you buy fresh food, if you buy fresh vegetables, they will often go bad very quickly. So that is one thing that I object to. I don't like buying food and then having to throw it away because it's gone bad. So, here's an interesting question. What age would you like to live up to, Mr. Duncan? I would like to live up to the end of today. That is my wish. So as long as I survive today, we will see what happens tomorrow. So that's the answer to that question. Mohammedi says, hello, Mr. Duncan. I am happy because now I am with you watching in Tehran. Hello to you. Najib is here. Is longevity a synonym of sustainability? Well, I suppose it's similar, but not exact. So when we talk about sustainability, it means something that can be renewed easily. So especially when we're talking about environmental issues, we often talk about sustainable crops or sustainable energy, something that can be renewed again and again, and then it will continue. So I suppose you could say longevity refers to sustainability. Kamal, hello Mr. Duncan. Hello Wida. Hello Wida, I like your name. It's very unusual. Very unusual indeed. Hello sir, thank you so much for the job you've done. I am from Balochistan in Iran, but I am living in Sweden. Oh, Sweden is a very nice place. Some beautiful architecture and also rather delicious food. Not women. I wasn't going to say that. How dare you? Louis. Turtles often have great longevity. This is true. I think, in fact, maybe I'm wrong, but certainly one of the oldest living creatures as far as their lifespan is concerned is the turtle. I think they can live for maybe 150 years, if not longer. Yes, I watched Finding Nemo. I did. Some people think that Finding Nemo is a documentary. How strange is that? Magilal says, sir, quite often you use the expression, by the way. What does it mean? Well, if you say, by the way, it means you are changing the subject very briefly. So you are talking about one thing, but then suddenly you remember that you want to talk about something else. So you say, oh, I'm talking about that, but by the way. So it is something you emphasize as a thing you are adding to the conversation or what you are saying. So I am talking about this, by the way. So it literally means, by the way, means to go off in a slightly different direction. There is something that I want to tell you, and it's very important. By the way, have you heard? Tomorrow we are going to take a look around Much Wenlock. There is a video that I made, and I will show you around the place in which I live tomorrow, I promise. I was going to show it yesterday, but unfortunately I ran out of time. I did not beat the clock. Hello to Guadeloupe again. I wish you have a long life with that energy and positivism or positivity. Thank you very much. Well, that is it. That is what life is all about. You have to try and be positive. You have to always look on the bright side of life. Shakir is here. Sir, could you tell us a short story today, if that's what you like? Well, I can't tell a story today because I don't have much time. It is now 2:30. So it is 2:30, and in a moment I'm going to show you around my kitchen some of the things that I use. We haven't had a look outside. This morning I woke up very early because I noticed yesterday that the farmer who lives nearby has started to plough his fields. Would you like to have a look? Okay, here it is now. Can you see on the screen? If you look very closely, you will see a tractor slowly coming into view. And there it is. And that is the farmer who owns all of the land very close to me. And he is cutting. He is turning over the ground. So he is actually preparing the land for next year. So this year the harvest has come and gone, and now he's preparing the land. He is ploughing the field. Plough. That's a very interesting word, by the way. The word plough. I will show you that word in a minute, because the word plough can actually be spelt in more than one way. So there you can see now appearing on the screen, you can see in the distance there is a farmer and he is ploughing the field. You can also see some sheep in the background as well. It's quite a windy day. So that is something that I filmed this morning, looking out of my window. And yes, I do live in the countryside. That is where I live. I live in the country. You're going to find me out in the country because that's where I live. So the word plough, a very interesting word. Ooh. And as you can see, it can be spelt in two ways. So at the top, you can see plough. That particular spelling is British English. British English. And underneath, you will see a different spelling of the word, and that is used in British English. Sorry, American English. British English, American English. This is used in Britain or in British English, and this is used in American English, or of course, in the United States of America. Plough. So when the farmer goes into the field, he wants to turn the land over in preparation for next year's crop. He will then plant some more seeds and they will grow into next year's harvest. So I hope you enjoyed that. I always like to show you some of the views from my window because a lot of people are interested. Have you ever failed any recipes. Recipe. So a recipe is the guide or the instructions for making a meal. So I am not a very good cook. I will be honest with you. Mr. Steve is the cook. He is very good at cooking. He can make some lovely meals. Unfortunately, I am not. Louis says, can we say by the way or anyway? Well, anyway is often used when you want to go back to the original subject. So if you say by the way, and then you say, oh, anyway. So you want to go back to the original subject. Longevity. Hello, Eric. Longevity is a synonym for Queen Elizabeth. Yes, she has been alive for a very long time. How old is she now? How old is the Queen of England? I think she must be 90, 95, 94, 97. I know she's older than me. Not many people are. Rosa, yes, cool to see the field. Thank you very much. Hello, Mr. Duncan. Do you like or do you have a favourite folk tale? One of my favourite stories as a child was Robin Hood, the legend of Robin Hood, who lived in Sherwood Forest. Hello, Noemi or Noemi Al-Sur. I hope I pronounced your name right. Last week, passed away at the Royal Tortoise from an African country. So last week, a tortoise died, and apparently it was over 300 years old. Can you believe it? 300 years old. That's incredible. Eric is making a joke. He says, Queen Elizabeth's first pet was a dinosaur. I'm not sure if the Queen of England is that old. Hello, Christina, once again. Yes, I will be showing the video, showing the place in which I live tomorrow. We will be back in the studio. However, today I am doing something slightly different because we are going to take a look around my kitchen. Yes, we are in the kitchen. And today I'm wearing my trousers. For the past few days I've been wearing shorts, but today I have had to put on my trousers, and it feels very strange. It really does feel strange when you've been wearing shorts for many days and then suddenly you put long trousers on, and it feels very uncomfortable, especially if you are wearing jeans. Anyway, let's have a look, shall we? So, things that exist in the kitchen. We are going to take a look at some simple things that you will find, and I will explain the words to you. Is that okay? I hope so. The first thing I'm going to show you is this. Oh, this is a plate. Plate, a very common item, something that you will see in many kitchens. Now, of course, I know what you're going to say. Mr. Duncan, that is a big plate. But of course, there are small plates as well. So you can have large plates like this. This is a very large plate. It is quite big, in fact. So the word here is plate. Plate. And the word also can be used to mean a flat surface or something that is flat. So we might talk about plate when we are talking about geology. So quite often in geology, they will mention the plates, the flat areas of land. Quite often, these plates are divided, and now and again they will push together. And then the pressure, once it's released, will cause an earthquake. So plate is a word that means a flat thing. You might also say that this is related to the word plateau. Plateau, which means to even out. Even out. So to go at an even line, we say plateau. So you might say that these two words, or those two words, are actually related. So the first word, plate. And on your plate, you will put your food. You will serve the food on a plate. So that is the first word. Another thing that you might eat from is dish. You might eat from a dish, and there you can see dish. This can also be called bowl. So this can be called a dish or bowl. So we often eat our cereal or our breakfast, such as porridge. We will eat it in a dish. And also we will probably eat our desserts, such as ice cream. Quite often you will eat ice cream in a dish. So you will serve a dish of ice cream. You will serve something in a dish. Of course, generically, the word dish can mean any meal. So dish as a generic word means anything that is served as a meal. So a dish can be any meal. Something you have prepared. You have prepared a delicious dish. Something that you will serve to your dinner guests, maybe. Dish. So there are many ways of using that word. Also, dish can be used as a slang term for an attractive male. So if you see a man who is attractive, good looking, handsome, you might describe him as a dish. Oh, did you see Tom Cruise? Oh, he was in Mission Impossible 8. Oh, what a dish. He's such a dish. No, I know I'm not a dish. Don't worry. I don't take things too seriously. You may have noticed. Here is another thing that you will see around the kitchen. Oh, this is interesting. Mug. Mug. So there is another word, and there is the item. Oh, look, it's an England cup. So this can be described as a cup or mug. But actually, this particular type of cup is normally called mug. And the reason why is because it is large. So it is larger than the average cup. So normally a cup is much smaller. So mug is a large cup. Normally you will serve tea or coffee in one of these. So there is a mug. And this particular mug is commemorating the England football team. Mug. Also, the word mug can be used to mean face. A person's face can also be described as mug. A person's mug. If you are ever in trouble with the police, they will often take a photograph of you, and they will call that photograph a mugshot. Mugshot. So basically it means a picture of your face. So the word mug can be used in more than one way. Also, the word mug can mean attack a person. So as a verb, It means to attack someone or to rob someone violently. So you will jump on them, you will beat them, and then you will take their valuables. We say that you mug someone. Or of course, the victim has been mugged. Mugged. So many words. So even though these words seem simple, they can be used in many different ways. Ooh. Okay, we are getting on to the big things now. The big things. Guadalupe says, I am going to work now, unfortunately. It was a pleasure to spend this time with you, to share this time. Thanks, Duncan. That's okay. You can always watch this later, don't forget. And also, if you want to have captions, you can by pressing that button on your keyboard. So yes, you can also have live captions right now. Incredible. Here is another thing that I'm going to show you. The word is jug. Jug. A short word, a simple word, and here is the item. So, jug. A jug is a container that is used for measuring and also pouring. So when you pour, it means you transfer the liquid from one thing to another. You pour. So a jug is a very useful thing to have in the kitchen. And you can see that you can also measure the quantities of liquid. So this particular thing is very useful in the kitchen, especially if you are making a recipe. So if you are following a recipe, you will often have to measure things in this jug. Jug. I love that word. And this particular one is very large and also very heavy. And the great thing about this is you can use it in a microwave oven. So this is very useful. It can be used for many different applications, many different uses in the kitchen. Very useful thing. Jug. Jug. So many things to show you. Now here is an item that looks like a jug, but it isn't. It is made of glass, but this particular thing has one certain use, and it is called a mixing bowl. Mixing bowl. So mixing bowl is the thing that you have and also the purpose of the thing. So we use this for mixing ingredients. So maybe if you are making a cake, in here you will put some eggs, some flour, some water, maybe a little bit of sugar, and also maybe a little bit of yeast or special flour. So the flour will allow the cake to expand. So you will mix everything in the bowl, hence the name. That's why this is called a mixing bowl. So a mixing bowl is a very useful thing. Once again, a very useful thing to have around the kitchen. You will mix things in a bowl. Also, it's very useful if you are going into space because you can use it as a helmet. Mission control, we have a problem. Beep. Mixing bowl. I hope you are enjoying this. I love being in the kitchen, but I do prefer it when Mr. Steve is here cooking the meal. Here is another thing that is very interesting. Oh, this is a big one. This is very big. It is Once again, transparent, so you can see right through it. It is made of glass, it is big, it is heavy, and also it is very useful. And this particular thing is called a casserole dish. Casserole dish. So this particular dish serves a specific purpose, and that is to make hot meals inside it. But what is a casserole? A casserole is a type of stew, very thick, with lots of gravy, quite often with meat and vegetables, and quite often you will eat a casserole during the winter when the weather is cold and everyone needs something warm to eat. So casserole. We can also say stew as well. So a casserole is a very popular meal that is served during the winter here in the UK. Casserole dish. And this one is made of glass. Of course, there are other casserole dishes which are not transparent. So this one is, but there are many that don't. So you can cook your casserole or your stew. I suppose also you could cook your fish in here as well. Steve always cooks the fish on Sunday in this dish, a casserole dish. So that is our next item. So many things to show you. Oh, we are now getting to the interesting things, the things that you use directly for cooking. And here is the next item. Very nice, very shiny, in fact. There it is, look at that. You can actually see the reflection of the camera. So you can see the camera reflection. So this particular thing, very common. You will see many of these in all sorts of shapes and sizes in a kitchen. Saucepan, a saucepan. So saucepan or saucepan is a very useful thing. It is normally used for heating, boiling, or simmering. Simmer. So if you cook something for a very long time, but you don't want it to get too hot, you just want it to stay on the boil, you simmer. Simmer. Or of course you can heat something up until it reaches boiling point, and then you will boil something. So you can cook potatoes in a saucepan. You can make soup in a saucepan. You can heat up your baked beans in a saucepan. So there are many ways of using a saucepan. Saucepan. And some people also call these pots. So people over a certain age will often call these pots. So they won't actually say saucepan. They will in fact use the word pot instead. So there you can see a saucepan, one of many, and Mr. Steve normally on a Sunday will cook the rice in this pot or in this saucepan. I hope you enjoyed that. We are already coming towards the end of the live stream. Can you believe it? It's gone so quickly, so fast. I can't believe. Here is another thing that is very useful in the kitchen when you want to cook something, especially when you want to cook something unhealthy. So maybe in the morning, maybe you want some breakfast, you want to cook yourself a lovely full English breakfast. Egg, bacon, sausage, baked beans. You will need one of these. This is a very useful thing to have around in your kitchen, especially if you want to fry something. Or maybe you want to hit your partner over the head a few times to keep them quiet. So this has many uses. So a frying pan. Yes, there it is, frying pan. So in a frying pan, you will fry food. So quite often, the things that you cook in the frying pan will actually be unhealthy. You will normally use fat. And the things that you fry quite often are meat. So maybe you fry bacon, you fry steak, or maybe you fry a sausage. Ooh. Frying pan, very useful. And normally you will fry food. You'll heat the food up in some oil. So first of all, you will put oil or fat in the frying pan, and then you will gently heat it, and then you will add your food. So it will fry. I don't know about you, but I absolutely love fried food. I know it's bad for you. I know it's bad for your health. I know what you're going to say. Mr. Duncan, you shouldn't eat fried food. It isn't good for you. I know. I'm terrible. So there is the next one. Frying pan. Frying pan. Pan is a very interesting word. The word pan can be used in many ways. Pan can mean go from left to right, or maybe from right to left. So you can move horizontally. So if you pan, it means you move horizontally. So there is another use of the word pan. Quite often, that particular word is used in cinematography or photography. So if you are filming something and you move your camera across horizontally, we call that pan. Pan. You pan across. And the opposite of that is up and down. And that is called tilt. Tilt. So that is tilt, and that is pan. And this is a frying pan. And it has nothing to do with making videos. Oh! Something else very useful if you are in the kitchen and you want to put something in your oven, you will need one of these to protect the bottom of the food. And this is called a baking tray. Hello, baking tray. How are you today? So a baking tray is normally used to protect the bottom of the food, especially if you put it in an oven. So maybe the oven is very hot, but you don't want the bottom of your food to burn. So you will normally put your food on a baking tray. You will use a baking tray for making cakes, or maybe you will put something on top of the baking tray, like a pizza. Ooh, that's what I did last night. I actually made a pizza last night. Well, I didn't make it. It was already made. But I put it on a baking tray and then I placed it in the oven. So there it was, a baking tray. I hope that was useful. We are near the end of the live stream. Hello, Palmyra. When we are on trips in hotels, we always bring our coffee and electrical devices to prepare coffee very early. Normally 5 or 6 a.m. That is very early. I'm normally still asleep at that time. Mr. Duncan, you are still doing live lessons. It is excellent. This time you are in your kitchen. Thank you, Kathy Cat. Yes, I'm in the kitchen showing some of the items that exist right here. Here is something I'm going to show you. It is something that is a little bit dirty, so I do apologise. I apologise, it is a little bit dirty. We are talking about kitchen items, things you find generally in the kitchen. And here is something that unfortunately is a little bit dirty, so I do apologise. And there is the item. Can you see it? Something very useful when you are taking something out of the oven, something very hot. You will use oven gloves. Oven gloves. So these are special items to keep your hands free from being burnt by the hot food. So these are oven gloves. In fact, these particular oven gloves are a little bit old. I think we need to get some new ones. Oven gloves, very useful for taking hot things out from the oven. One more item and then I'm going because it is approaching 3 o'clock. But don't worry, I will be back here tomorrow. Not in the kitchen, I will be back in the studio. The final thing before I go. After your meal has finished, you must wash the dishes. I don't know about you, but I hate washing the dishes. That is the reason why I have one of these. This is a dishwasher, an electric dishwasher, and it is very useful for washing the dishes. Oh! 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 There is my dishwasher. And I like that because it saves me having to wash the dishes. However, sometimes I will wash my dishes by hand and then afterwards I will have to dry them. And I will use one of these. This is something very useful for drying your wet plates, your wet saucepans, and also your knives and forks. This is a tea towel. Tea towel. So we often describe this as a tea towel. It's interesting that the word tea is used. However, it just refers to something that you use for wiping or drying, maybe something that you have washed and you want to dry it by hand. You will use one of these. Tea towel. That is all we have time for. It is almost time to say goodbye. Thank you, Mr. Duncan, and thanks for everyone. Thank you, Grow Up, Grow Up. You are such a human picture dictionary. Excellent idea. Extremely useful and effective. Thank you, Grow Up, Grow Up. Thank you for your company today. Thanks also to Shariah, also to Lewis and Louie. So don't confuse those two people. They are different people. Thanks also to Palmyra. Thanks to Louis again. Olga. Oh, hello, Olga. Olga is actually in the kitchen right now. She is chopping some meat. And then she will fry the meat in a frying pan. How strange is that? So I am talking about cooking in the kitchen, and you are actually cooking in the kitchen right now. Incredible. Thank you very much for your company today. I am going in a moment. Thank you, Luna. I will see you tomorrow. Don't forget, I am here every single day, Monday to Friday from 2 p.m. UK time, Saturday 12 midday UK time, and on Sunday 2 p.m. UK time. Basically, I am with you all the way through October, every single day. I will see you tomorrow for day 10. Yes, And I know for a fact tomorrow it is definitely Thursday tomorrow. So tomorrow is Thursday. This is Mr. Duncan in the birthplace of English saying thank you very much for joining me today in my kitchen. I will see you tomorrow, 2 p.m. UK time. And of course, you know what's coming next. I will wave to you and I will say that magic word. Ta-ta for now.